Hello, fellow explorers. What are the energies at play that are coming up for you in the next week that you need to know about to be able to manifest your best in this upcoming cycle? We've got a big week ahead. We've got a new moon in Capricorn. We've got an annular solar eclipse, and we've got the holidays, and we've got the solstices. So a huge amount of energy happening. What do you need to know about how to make the best out of that? So go ahead and follow through, and we will get into it right now. Hello, fellow explorers. Welcome to the Mystic Lemur. My name is Rita, and it is my honor to be your guide through these messages in this reading. So for the beginning of the reading, we'll do a collective reading on the energies at play during the week ahead. As I said in the intro, we have a big, the last new moon of the decade. So it's happening towards the end of the week on either Thursday or Friday, depending on where you are in the world. And it also is happening at the end of the month, so towards the end of December, at the end of the year, December, at the end of the decade, so huge amounts of leveling up that are happening. To cap that all off, we have it happening in Capricorn. So Capricorn is a sign that is ruled by Saturn, so all about maturity, leveling up, and also being very diligent about whatever it is that you're working on. So Capricorn energy, that is, by the way, if you're a Capricorn sun baby, happy birthday. I happen to be a Sagittarius sun, so I just got to have my birthday. I do very much hope for you that your birth season is filled with as much light, love, and expansion as mine has been. So that we are moving into this Capricorn time, what we are being invited to do is really to manifest our biggest, best boss self. Capricorns are very rugged, very diligent, and really great at getting a job done. If you need something done, give it to a Capricorn. They'll get it sorted right away, and they'll do the best of their abilities to do it. So we have, in support of our reading today, some Heartsease, or pansies, and these are flowers that are also ruled by Saturn. So Capricorn is ruled by Saturn, as are these, so they're coming in to support us in this Saturn energy as we transfer from the blessings of Jupiter into the request to restrict and be serious that we get from Saturn. And they're also ruled by water. So the cards that come up for describing Heartsease are the the world. The world is also ruled by Saturn, and the hanged man, which is ruled by water. So asking us to complete our cycle. The world is leveling up, coming up to your complete end of the journey and beginning into the next phase, beginning into the next chapter, beginning into the next decade. We also have water, which is with the hanged man asking us to change our perspective on something. And then for Capricorn, the card that represents Capricorn or is ruled by Capricorn is the Devil. And so the Devil can possibly be a bit of a scary card. I know that I have been quite averse to it for a long time, but it's not to say by any stretch of the imagination that Capricorns are evil. Far from it. It's more about the restrictions from Saturn. So Saturn is quite strict. Saturn will ask you to put on your big girl or big boy pants, adult up, and do it right the first time, because if you don't do it right the first time, you're going to be invited to come back for another cycle and try it again. So our really big opportunity for this week is to complete those cycles, or to manifest completing those cycles with this new moon, to get into the next stage, get into the next chapter, level up, be the next layer, the next morph of your evolution of your best self. So for the opening reading, we'll do a general cast of the energies that support us right now, and then we'll separate out into 3 piles to do a bit more of a targeted, specific message for particular groups. So first, for the general reading, tapping into the collective conscious, what are the energies that support us in this upcoming week? What are the energies that support us in this week of December 22nd or 23rd, depending on where you are in the world, to 20th or 29th? So what's coming ahead for us in the week ahead? We have 9 of Chalices for the beginning of the week, and we have 4 of Pentacles, Then for the middle of the week, what we have, what's happening in the middle of the week for us this coming week? What's happening in the middle of the week? Ooh, we have 10 of Swords and 8 of Chalices in reverse. And then for the end of the week, what's going on for us at the end of the week? We have these two. We have 2 of Swords and the Emperor in reverse. Interesting. So, and also, I'm going to go ahead and pull a card to clarify on this 10 of Swords. That's a pretty intense card. What's going on for us with this 10 of Swords? Happening in the middle of the week. We have 9 of Pentacles. Okay. The back of deck energy here is, we have 5 of Wands in reverse. Alright, so going through what's happening in the beginning of the week, we have the 9 of Chalices and the 4 of Pentacles. So beginning of the week, that's getting into the Sunday and Monday before Christmas, if that's what you celebrate. Also around the solstice time. So 9 of Chalices, that is the card that speaks about having completed all of your success. You're highly successful in your, especially in your emotional domain. So this could be speaking about having a harmonious reuniting with loved ones if you're doing holiday celebrations. It could also speak about, because the imagery I get from this card is that there's this man who is, very much in control of his manifested physical domain, but he's sort of like hoarding all of this wealth. So it could be a sense of like, almost like emotional miserliness, like you might be sort of holding some stuff back. So it could be an invitation that if you feel like maybe you've had some tensions with loved ones that you don't see very often and you're seeing them through the holidays, this could be an invitation to be generous with your emotions and assume the best in people, because there's self-fulfilling prophecy. We really, we mostly see people as a reflection of ourselves. So whatever you're seeing in them, it's something that's actually happening in you. And so you can always turn inward to be like, hey, so like, I noticed this person was being kind of a jerk. So what is it in me that is manifesting that energy? And what is it in me that enables us? So like, if you're dealing with a racist uncle or a misogynistic aunt, like what part of you is feeding those stories? Even if it's that, you don't really believe in it, but you still sort of have that like sense of like maybe women aren't really supposed to work outside the home or whatever. There's still something that you're doing to feed that narrative that you can sort of tap into. And that could be part of that sort of like look to the inside, look to your inner being to bring about the best in the people that you're going to be interacting with, especially at the beginning of the week. We have the 4 of Pentacles. So this is the energy of this man is sitting at a writing desk. He seems to be sort of figuring out what he wants to say, maybe taking some notes. I often read this as like he's trying to write a letter and he can't quite figure out what it is that you want to say. So this could tie in with this being emotionally generous and also saying what it is that you need to say and saying it with truth, but also with compassion. So be open and be honest. Don't feel like you need to lie about who you are to your loved ones, but you also don't need to be responsible for things that you can't control. So like you can't control what they think. If you're on the path of being a light worker and you want to help elevate people, you can't force people to be woke. People will wake up in their own due good time. Forcing people to awaken doesn't help them. It actually harms them. It could make them stay asleep for longer. So just love them as they are, where they are. Say what you need to say it with love, and trust that it could be that they are ready. So if you can speak this truth to them with emotional generosity, that might be the message they needed to hear. It's coming into the middle of the week. This is into the full swing of the holiday season. We have the 10 of Swords. So this speaks of the emotional energy around a tower moment. So could be that there will be a sudden and you might feel a catastrophic change or loss, something leaving your life quickly. And this is sort of the emotional profile of that experience. It's also the completion of mental energy. So if you've been really stuck in some limiting beliefs, this might signal that you could have a breakthrough with that, because this Tower moment, Tower is another really scary card, but it's also a card that speaks of breakthrough. So it could be that you might, by speaking this truth to someone that you thought you didn't vibe on your wavelength, but actually does, that could be a breakthrough for you to get through those limiting beliefs that you've had. This could be a real big opportunity for you to level up in that arena. So we also have clarifying on that Ten of Swords. We have the Nine of Pentacles. So the Nine of Pentacles speaks about leveling up and achieving near completion of your financial abundance or your manifested physical abundance. So you're going to feel very supported in speaking this truth, because you've got this sort of earth energy grounding yourself. Yeah, that's the message. You need to make sure that you are really grounding your energy and grounding yourself in whatever interactions that you're having with other people. So keeping your eye to this, and I'm seeing like Mother Earth. So if you're able to go out and connect with plants, connect with animals, you might be in a place that's very cold, so it might not feel great, but even like a potted plant, or if you're in a space where they have a Christmas tree, hang out with a Christmas tree, look at the twinkle lights. Keeping your energy around these fellow beings that we share the planet with can help ground your energy. I found connection with plants to be especially helpful for this. So just maybe even having a nice cup of tea, like just keep yourself grounded, because this will pass. If you're getting this card, it could be that the Tower has happened recently, and this is an indication that the worst of it is over. And then we have the Eight of Cups in reverse. The Eight of Cups speaks of walking away from something. So it could have been that you once had this, especially an emotional or relationship investment that was once really paying off for you, but then you walk away from it. But because it's in reverse, this might actually again be indicating that you should give people the benefit of the doubt. So again, don't violate your boundaries. Always make sure that you're looking after your own well-being, because your well-being is your responsibility and their well-being is their responsibility. But it could be that you have completed making this choice of walking away and you're reaping the benefits of it, or that you're going to see a new side of someone that you hadn't expected. And because you've given them this emotional generosity, you've been able to level up, have that breakthrough in the limiting beliefs that you may have had about yourself or about them or about the situation. And you might discover that you don't need to leave after all, that you don't need to be conditional on that situation. You can be your best self regardless. We have the end of the week. That's when we're getting into this new moon cycle. We have Two of Swords and Emperor in reverse. So the Two of Swords, this particular card talks about having mental internal balance. So whatever's going on here, what's going to be important for you to keep in mind as you're coming into your manifestations in your new moon phase, if you're doing new moon rituals, especially important, keep it balanced. Keep your internal sensory experience balanced. So balance out your mind, your heart, your energy, your spirit. Keep that all well balanced, and especially in the mind. So it might be that your mind might want to run a little bit. Keep that calm, centered, collected, grounded. And that'll get you through. That'll help you with and we got the moon in here, so this is very possibly talking about, with all this darkness, the new moon specifically. And then the Emperor in reverse. So in upright, the Emperor speaks of, to me, the divine masculine. So that's the protector, the supporter, the provider. He's also ruled by Aries. So very impulsive, very fiery, moving forward with quite a lot of energy and quickness, so childlike energy of being impatient. But in reverse, this could be that you're coming into your divine feminine more than your divine masculine, so the sort of current energetic cycle that the world is in is predominantly with masculine energy, right? So like we are often rewarded for being more masculine, more agentic, more linear in our thinking, than we are for being more feminine, so being more receptive, being more lateral in our thinking, being more intuitive. So it could be that you're coming more into your intuitions, and that would certainly help you with the moon and with your manifestations, because for your ability to manifest, you need to be able to believe it before you see it. And that means letting go of the empirical observed reality and coming into your vision of what is, or what could be. So this may indicate that you are tapping into that more feminine energy, and that you are letting go of this impatience. You're willing to take on another message. So if we're in Saturn season, Aries would be the opposite end of that. So you're coming into your maturity. And again, the back of the deck energy we have here, we also have this popping up. So we'll go ahead and talk about both of these. We have the Five of Wands in reverse. So the Five of Wands to me often talks about seeming battles, especially in the emotional, the heart realm, because we've got all the green that speaks of the heart chakra. And we've got these people here in the middle who look like they're having a fight, but it's more of like a sparring match. So they seem to be sort of leveling up and gaining strength in their heart. But in reverse, it could be that you are emanating out the lessons that you've been learning in your heart space or in your emotional body. You are able to share that, especially in your interactions with people through the holiday season, if you're visiting with people, and the messages that you're able to share. And then the back of the deck that came out behind the Five of Wands is Ten of Pentacles, which to me speaks about gifts of the elders. So if you happen to be in a space where you want to connect with your spirit team, they might be trying to connect with you, and they're really supporting you in this phase, especially if you're making some kind of breakthrough through this tower moment. The ancestors are here. The spirit support team is here to support you. Call them in, tap into them, and they will help guide you through this. All right, so those are the energies for the collective reading. Let's go ahead and get into the individual group readings. So I'll go ahead and shuffle the deck, and then we'll jump into the piles. All right, jumping into our pick a card pile. So we've gone through the collective energy of the week ahead, and now we have three groups, pile 1, 2, and 3, to get a little bit more specific about some of the profiles of the energies supporting you and how you can make your best outcomes out of the coming week. So again, this is a general reading, so do take whatever resonates, leave what doesn't. You are always the best expert on what is right for you today, but there'll be different messages for different folks, but with these different piles we can get a little bit more specific than the general reading we had at the top of the video. So to get the most out of this reading, to find the messages that are most well suited to you at this moment, and if this video is finding you at a moment that is not this coming week of December 22nd to 29th of 2019, there may still be something in this energy profile that could suit you. So if you're still feeling called to make your choice and listen in, please honor that. So we have first to come into your grounded, centered space so you can quiet the mind, begin to settle the emotions, and let your intuitive knowing pop forward and give you the messages that you need to receive. So for that, let's go ahead and find our comfortable seated position. That may be in a chair or on the floor. Wherever you are, finding a way of connecting your energy, feeling that sense of rootedness, imagining roots growing deep into the earth through your feet, your legs, your sits bones, stacking your spine so a tall upper back, so you can let the energy flow up from the earth throughout the top of the head, and taking 3 mindful rounds of breath to begin to let that energy settle. Deep belly breath in on the inhale, and exhaling to release. Deep belly breath in, and exhale to release. One more big deep belly breath in, and exhale to release. Now, if you feel the call, go ahead and pick your card now. If you need a few more moments, go ahead and pause the video. But now we'll jump on into group number 1. All right, group number 1. What messages do we have to share for you about what might be coming for you in the next week? We have first, where are you? You are at the Knight of Chalices in reverse. So the Knight of Chalices is a combination of water and air. So he is really in charge of being the being the activator, being the connection between the mind and the heart. And he is in service of the Queen and King of Chalices, of Cups. And in this particular card, he looks quite spooky. So another way we might think about this is some of Scorpio energy coming forth. So this could be an indication that you're a Scorpio. It could be an indication that you're a water sign, or that you're dealing with a water sign. It could be important in your life this week. And it could also be an invitation to think about your subconscious. But as it came up in reverse, that might also indicate that you are spending a bit too much time looking at the dark side of things. You might be getting a little bit caught up in the negative. So this could be an indication that you are coming into a space where you're looking more at the positive, or stepping out of looking at that subconscious. Maybe you've been doing a lot of shadow work, and it's an indication to you that you can begin to let go of that and live in your persona. Your shadow is never going to be perfect, because it is actually already perfect in a weird way. So you've done your work, and you can take a bit of a relax. So the lessons at play in support of you, you have the Queen of Chalices in reverse. So the Queen of Chalices, served by the Knight of Chalices. So she looks very much to me like the minor arcana version of the Empress. She's also very much associated with Scorpio, and plumbing the depths, coming into her emotional maturity in a very feminine way, so being very nurturing and supporting. But again, in reverse, so this could be a lesson that you are possibly extending all of your nurturing energies outward, and you're not taking enough time to nourish and nurture yourself. So that could be an indication that you don't need to earn your value by taking care of everyone else. You're already valuable, and so you can take care of yourself first. You can't serve others from a cup that is empty, so fill your cup before you try to fill someone else. Especially good to remember in this holiday season if you're celebrating. And the energies in the background that are supporting you, we have the Strength card. Strength here is, so your inner strength especially. You have, this is a lot of, women. This card speaks to me of especially a feminine energy that's stepping into its power, being courageous. So there could be something that's a bit frightening for you, and remembering that courage is not about not feeling fear, it's about feeling the fear and doing the right thing anyway. So you may be in the background support, like you might be feeling a bit concerned about what other people might think, since you've had maybe this role of being the divine feminine that empties herself out. So if you think about like some mothers in the animal kingdom, like spiders and octopi, will literally sacrifice themselves for their children. Like their bodies will just become the first meal for their children. So you don't need to do that anymore. You can feed yourself as well. And coming in, stepping into your power and learning that you can really be all aspects of yourself openly. And you don't need the armor. So she's completely out in the open, unabashed. She's got this foundation of support underneath her, and she's good. She also very much reminds me of the Hindu goddess Durga. So Durga steps forward when someone's doing some shady business and the evil needs to be exorcised. So you might be laying down the law at some point. And then finally, the outcome, we have the King of Swords. So this is the combination of fire and air being very active in your mental space. And this particular card, he reminds me a lot of Shiva, actually. So Shiva in the Hindu pantheon, again, I do not have any formal training in Hindu theology. I just know about what I know of it through yoga philosophy. But it's sort of like the thing that is there when it seems like there's nothing else there. And so here, this speaks to me of being more observant. So he's ready to go, but he's not like standing at attention. He's just watchfully waiting. So what you might be learning, or the outcome of this, is you're stepping into that ability to be observant without reacting. And let your mind be ruled by truth, and the truth that you spark from your beliefs rather than from what you just observe of your manifested reality. What are the energies that support you in the coming week? What are some words of advice that we might be able to share with you for bringing about your best outcomes in the week ahead? We have the Two of Wands in reverse. So Two of Wands is we have a man here who is sitting at a stool, gazing into this crystal ball. Reminds me of scrying, but he's also balanced in his energy. And what this also speaks of is planning. So as it comes up in reverse, it could be that you've been sort of holding back on expending your energy. You're still like waiting for the right moment. So this may be the indication that this week, that divine inspiration or that inspired momentum to take action. Your plans are in place. That moment of inspiration to take inspired action might be coming. So trust it and take it when it presents itself to you. What do we have to clarify the lessons being played? Oh, we have the Devil. So again, I mentioned this, I think, in the opening. The Devil is the card that's associated with Capricorn. So what you might be experiencing here is, you could be that you have a romantic sexual relationship, and you might be exploring the side of that is including more of this restriction. So if that's you, you know what that is. If it's not, don't worry about it. Also, coming into Saturn season, you might be feeling very restricted. So going through the holidays, it's really tempting to have all of the delicious food and all of the delicious drinks and all of the beverages. And that's a very easy way to distract yourself from what you really need to be directing your attention to. So this card is a reminder to be restricted about how much you allow yourself to indulge. So definitely do. It also is pinging something for me. So this card also rings of Venus, and Venus loves luxury. But if she's in reverse, it might be that you should definitely be taking care of yourself, but don't overindulge. Especially don't overindulge in a way that distracts you from seeing what you need to see and doing the work that you need to do. So with this sense of like, you might have been doing the shadow work, but there could still be this invitation to slip back into a negative cycle, or you might need to be stepping up into your business routines, because it's another thing that happens with Capricorn. So this just could be the energy of Capricorn that's coming out as a lesson for you. And next, what are the background energies that support you? We have Two of Pentacles in reverse. So Two of Pentacles is all about balance, especially balance between the different levels of our physical domain. And in reverse, this could be another indication that you might be seeking to find that balance. So again, if you've been doing a lot of shadow work, you might be looking to see that you have it before you have the balance before you can begin to move forward. And that might instead be a suggestion to you that, the balance is always dynamic. It's never going to be completely perfect. So just find your space of alignment and move towards that. It could also be that if you've been looking at your financial abundance from the perspective of scarcity, looking to let go of that. This is the message I'm getting with that. So if you're getting a scarcity mindset around, especially around material things, and that might especially be something that's coming up if you're buying a lot of gifts, trust that things are happening as they should, and there's as much abundance as you see. So look to see the abundance that you have rather than the lack. Finally, the end result, we have Seven of Swords. So again, this is another card that people can get kind of controversial about or feel controversy about. So it's a suggestion of deception. But as it's coming up in your lesson or your outcome here, and specifically your best outcome, it could be coming up with this Capricorn energy of being strategic, especially if you're trying to do something like bringing about a new balance of your financial well-being. Be strategic about what you're doing. It's okay to have strategy. It's okay to do the research and try to do things from a more targeted fashion. It's okay if you can still be a high vibrational being of light and love and also have physical abundance. And being strategic about how you do that is part of the way that you get forward with that. So keeping in mind the balance of avoiding outright deception, keep it high vibrational, but it's okay to also be strategic. It's also okay for you to ask for what you need. Someone needed to hear that. Alright, so what's the background energy we have? We have the Queen of Wands. So this is fire and water again. So she tells it like it is. And so this is possibly a reality check that's happening in the background here. Is like this lady knows her business and she will not be stopped. She's very energetic about it. She does it in a way that's kind of expressing more of a masculine aspect. So it could be stepping into your power and moving with vigorous action. So you've got the plans in place. Move with as much speed as you need, but do so in a way that is very high vibrational, and especially in the mental space. So the messages from the flowers that we have for group number 1, we have cyclamen, resignation, say goodbye to what is no longer needed. Right, so you might be hanging on to something that's not really serving you anymore, so it might be time to say goodbye to that. Belladonna, silence, listen more and quiet be. So that might also be tapping into something that we got in the collective reading. Be emotionally generous with people. Don't assume that you know what they're thinking before they actually tell you what they're thinking. And, people might surprise you. So speak as much as you need to speak to get out your truth, and do so in a way that is compassionate and kind, but also really listen, observe. Be the observer. And let the universe show you what you need to see. And then we have fuchsia, true feelings. Within you is all you need to know. Yeah, so you already, that could be, you're striving for something. You think you need to have achieved some level of purity or some level of enlightenment before you can move forward. And this is saying to you that as long as you tap into your heart space, you really tap into your true feelings, stick within living in your truth, you have all you need. You don't need to wait to be better. You don't need to wait to be gymnast level flexibility to start going to a yoga class. You don't need to wait to be an expert programmer to start a website. Like whatever it is, you don't need to wait to be an expert, an award-winning photographer to start an Instagram page to celebrate your photography. Whatever it is that you feel like you're not good enough yet, you're good enough. Go for it. Someone needed to hear that. And then we have words of wisdom, healing wisdom for group number 1. We have make it clear, calm thinking, your goal. So yeah, that's definitely tying in to your King of Swords here. Keep things, make time to clear your mental clutter. So a nice exercise to do that is if you've got a lot of thoughts bubbling around in your monkey brain, and you're finding, especially if you do a meditation practice, you're finding it really difficult to get to that space of groundedness, it's really helpful sometimes to just write it all out. Just do a brain dump. Just let it all out. This is especially important to do leading up to the new moon if you're trying to manifest along with the new moon. Get all that out so that you can come back to a space of inner quiet, inner calm, and let your inner being vibrate forward, because that'll tell you the true feelings and what you really need to be, silence here as well, what you really need to be focusing on. So this you can let go, and you can come into this. All right, these are the messages I have for group number 1. Group number 1, thank you so much for letting me be your guide through these messages. If this resonated something for you, if you felt some connection to this, I'd love to hear about it in the comments below. And if you really liked it, I would love it if you'd give it a like. And if it really hit your vibe, you might like to hit subscribe and the bell notification to keep up to date with how this channel continues to evolve. Again, thank you so much, group number 1, and we're moving on to group number 2. Okay, group number 2. Group number 2. What messages do we have for you, group number 2, about the coming week and how you can achieve your highest vibrational, healthiest outcome from what's happening? So first, what's going on for you in the next week? We have 9 of Pentacles upright. So 9 of Pentacles speaks of coming into a fuller experience of your financial abundance. So could be that you see this lady who's looking out over her domain. So you're really focusing in on the abundance that you already have, and you're seeing that you're doing quite well. So it could have been a very good year for you, and you're really just looking back with that attitude of gratitude about all the great things that you've had. And this is a great mindset to get into for whatever your new moon manifestation rituals might be. That attitude of gratitude for what you've already got, and realizing that you've already got so much to the point where you're nearly to the end of this full cycle is a great way to start. Some of the lessons that you're being asked to learn, we have Four of Swords. So this, the Four of Swords in this deck is a lady in black looking out into the present. And the traditional meaning of this is also that it's come after the Three of Swords, which was a moment of heartbreak and maybe more expansion than you were quite ready for in the mental domain. So this is coming to rest. So take a break this week. What you're being asked to do is to turn your mind off. You might be, especially if you've got a lot of financial abundance here, you might be quite the go-getter. If you might be a Capricorn, you might be quite the go-getter, and you're being asked to turn your brain off for a little while. Let it rest. So that's the sort of the background lesson that you're getting here, is taking that mental rest. And then the energies that support you in the background, you've got Three of Pentacles. So this, to me, speaks of creativity. So it could be that the way that you might like to take that mental rest by turning off your brain is to switch into a different modality and be more creative. And this creativity will also spark you into maybe completing that next level of your physical abundance. And then the outcome for you, we have Seven of Chalices in reverse. So Seven of Chalices, this is a very complex card. It speaks of illusion. So we have a lady here who's having troubled dreams, and she's seeing all of these options. One of the readings of this is that you may be experiencing a lot of mental anxiety, some tension, and maybe having trouble sleeping. So that could be another indication that you're being asked to learn to turn the brain off, take a rest. We also could see this as taking the choice between two layers of options, so the low road and the high road. The low road is more about like sticking into the lower root, sacral, chakra energies, so focusing mostly on financial abundance, on physical stimulation. So that would be more going towards the low vibrational, these would be more low vibrational activities in this particular card. So it could be that you are completely welcome to and able to create as much financial abundance as you need for yourself. And that's fine. But if you do it for the money, you'll find that it's empty. If you do connecting to people physically for the stimulation of the physical connection, you'll find that it's empty. The invitation in this card is to step up to this higher vibrational choice, which is to do from a space of centered in the heart. So move from a heart-centered action to shine your light, and let that shining light be an inspiration for others to shine as well. So if you are someone who is very good with money and making money and spending money, it could be that instead of focusing on what you get, you shift your focus to being on what other people get. And another meaning for this card is that this could be about the different phases of alchemy, because the original authors of the Rider-Waite deck were members of the Hermetic order. So they were alchemists, basically. And so these could be representing the different layers of alchemy. So what we would do with mental alchemy, and especially in terms of manifestation, is seeing the things that appear negative and loving into them and turning them into positives. And that's how you really begin to manifest quickly. So that could be the ultimate outcome that you have here. I believe it came up in reverse. So you're letting go of your illusions. So yeah, so if you've had a lot of financial abundance for you, you're being asked to shut your brain off. It's a term that I've heard about this for, it's called like gray space. I think that's the term. And so this is when like you're with your family, you're at home, you're purportedly relaxing, but your brain is still at work. Like you're at the office in your brain, but you're supposed to be spending time with your kids. So spend time with your family. Actually genuinely be with them in the present moment. Let your brain rest. This will let your creativity flow up, and this will help you to take on that next step. Like maybe you've not been quite able to level up past that 9. Letting your brain rest and letting go of the illusion of money being what's most important, letting the family be what's most important, will help you get to that next step. And we have the advice we can share for group number 2 on how to make the next the best choices that will help you to get your highest vibrational, healthiest outcomes from the next week. We have clarification on a new direction in your finances. So once you let your brain rest, you might discover that the rat race isn't for you. And that's about all I have to say for that. Then for Ton of Pentacles, you guys are manifestors. We have this from the general reading as well. Say what you need to say it with kindness. Could be that you need to write a letter to someone who you've been disconnected with for a long time. Have that emotional generosity to connect with them. Then we have clarifications on the background energies supporting you. We have the the High Priestess. So, very powerful card. She is sitting in the space between the yin and the yang. She's also possibly targeting your moon manifestation rituals, really tapping into your intuition, tapping into your subconscious, and letting that apparent duality of masculine and feminine be united. She's the space in between, because in this world we have many things that look like they're opposites. So we have masculine and feminine, light, dark, positive, negative, but they're all like heads and tails of a coin. They're all really the same thing. So coming into that realization that lack is actually abundance and abundance is actually lack, those sorts of like paradoxical thinking that you can get into when you're less of a linear thinking mode, which would be helpful when you turn off your brain. You can get out of that linear thinking mode and really tap into this more intuitive sense and see how deep your waters run, to let that really be the next layer that brings about this creativity. And finally, the outcomes for you, we have 6 of Swords in reverse. So 6 of Swords speaks of going from turbulent waters to calm waters. So in reverse, that might mean that you're blocking this sense of calm. So again, that could be another message that you need to take a break. Or it could be that you've been feeling stagnant. And then this is going to be an indication of the breakthrough that you're going to need to release this illusion and come out of this sense of the doldrums and move forth into the next stream of energy. Yeah, different messages for different folks. Take what resonates. And then finally, the background energies that support you, we have the 5 of Chalices. So it could be that you've been dissatisfied with something. This card shows a man who's looking off into the distance, and we have 3 empty cups in front of him, but there's still these 2 behind him that he doesn't seem to have taken notice of. So do be aware of everything that you have going for you. This could also be some indication that you've got a spirit team member or 2 who are trying to speak to you and you're not listening to them. So tapping into your intuition and taking that rest, coming into your creativity, letting go of these illusions can help you to get all of the messages that your spirit team are offering you to make your fullest possible best self out of the week ahead. Because again, it's a very powerful week. So what you've already begun to speak and think is already beginning to manifest. So be very clear and aware of what you're bringing forth into this world and make sure it is high vibrational. And the messages of the flowers we have to support group number 2, we have cactus flower, endurance. Hold on, you can do this. So if you've been feeling a little drained, especially if you're overthinking things, keep going. So you can still take that rest. This might also be indicating to you that you think you have to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You have to be very, like the long distance runner, like you can't quit. You can hold on and you can continue to do what it is that you want to do. You can definitely choose to keep on the path that you're currently on, but if it's not serving you, you can also take the path less trodden. And if you're in a phase where you're beginning to take a change for the better, it's going to be scary, but you do need to have endurance through that beginning phase. Then the brand new aspect of it requires endurance. It requires faith. So if you can hold on and keep your faith in yourself, know that you can do it, then you'll get there. We have Wisteria, longevity, plan for and take the dedicated path. Yep, so take the higher path, take the path less traveled. If you are currently burning the candle at both ends, it's going to catch up with you. So reconsider and look into your intuition. Say what it is that you need to say to whoever needs to hear it, but say it in kindness and compassion. And choose you. This is a marathon, not a sprint, so you don't need to sprint to the top. You're already on your way. Keep to what feels good to your inner being. And we have Bluebell, gratitude. Be thankful for what is good now. Yeah. So again, you might feel like you're not quite where you want to be just yet, and it could be that it's because you've sort of hit a ceiling, maybe a glass ceiling, wherever it is that you are, and you're in the point of making a pivot. Be grateful for what you have right now, especially if you're spending time with a family. Be with them. Be grateful for the space and the time that you have with them, because it's here for a reason, and you need to pay attention to what's coming to you in a space of appreciation, because that appreciation, that attitude of gratitude will absolutely help heaps with if you're doing any manifestation rituals. Finally, our words of wisdom for group number 2, don't be afraid to slow down, as this is when you can make the real inner changes. Absolutely. Take a break. Don't hold on to this message that you have to work 24/7. You're not a machine. You're a human. We have machines to do those things for a reason. And, machines break down too. Machines have to be turned off. You can probably hear the fan on my computer. It's a bit older, and it's got longevity, but it's getting a little bit tired. So take the break. You're not a machine. Because when you settle your mind, you can let the creative juices flow and really pop up into awareness, that inner being that's calling you to do something bigger and better, and really help you level up, achieve the end of this cycle. Notice the offerings that Spirit is giving to you. All right, those are my messages for group number 2. Group number 2, thank you so much for letting me be the guide for you through these messages. If this was resonating something for you, I'd love to hear about it. Tell me what's going on in the comments below. And if you thought this was hitting your vibe, go ahead and maybe give this a like. And if it's really hitting your vibe, you might also want to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button to keep up to date with how this channel continues to evolve. So thank you again, group number 2. Moving on to group number 3. All right, lucky last but not least, group number 3. Group number 3, what messages do we have for you about the week ahead and what you can do to make your best outcome, your biggest, highest vibrational, healthiest self out of what's coming for you in the coming week? So where are you right now? You are a King of Wands, so you're sitting in a space of being really mature about your energy and how you expend it. So you've possibly gone through some different times when you were maybe being a little bit impulsive, and you figured out you got that sorted. So you're sitting pretty well, and you're doing quite well in that domain. The lessons that are giving you or being presented to you in this week are the Chariot in reverse. All right, so interesting. This is a card that is ruled by Cancer, which is all about emotions and moving forward through spiritually inspired motion rather than jumping ahead. So the lesson that you might be learning, again, if you are sitting in this space of being the lord of your energy, you might be letting go of some of the feminine energies that were maybe stopping you from being completely in line with this more masculine expression of your energy. Or it could be that you haven't fully integrated the lessons of the card ahead of it, which is number 6, the So, yeah. Could be that you haven't fully integrated the lessons that are being offered to you through your emotions. Yeah, and it could be also that you need to come more into your inner strength rather than your external strength. Coming to the external energies at play, you might be having a lot of self-limiting beliefs that you're dealing with. So, again, sort of this masculine aspect, it could be that you're not fully integrating the masculine and the feminine. So it doesn't matter so much what your gender identity is. All people have feminine and masculine aspects, and it's definitely true that this world invites us to embrace the masculine while rejecting the feminine. So it could be that you've got some limiting beliefs around your ability to be vulnerable or your ability to be authentic, and this is some of the energy that's at play in the background for you. So yeah, your energy of your fire is definitely on fire, but maybe the water is a bit blocked, because Cancer is ruled by water. I think it's cardinal water as well. So yeah, it could be that you're definitely good for your energy, but you're not so good for your emotions, and that's blocking you in this mental energy. You're not really bringing them together. And then what are the outcomes at play for you? We have the Ten of Swords. So you may have, even though you're sort of at this peak of your energy expenditure, you may still have recently experienced a big, what felt at the time like a catastrophic change. And this card is saying that the outcome, possibly of whatever it is that you're holding yourself back from, could be a breakthrough. So leveling up from this limiting belief and breaking through from this blockage that you've given yourself in the mind. So it could be quite painful in the moment, but this card is also signaling that the worst of it is over. And you've also reached the end of your ultimate expression of your mind as well. So you've come through the cycle. It's been a difficult ride, but you've got there. So what are the advices we can share? Bits of advice, wisdom that we can share with group number 3 for how to make the most out of the coming week. We have the Queen of Swords. So yeah, you've been the master of your physical energy, but now it's time to come into a more, especially more feminine aspect of your mind. So the Queen of Swords is a great leader, and she knows her own mind. She speaks her mind as well. So she is the combination of fire and water, which is steam. So she could be quite steamy, but also she could come across, this is not fire and air, this is air and water, which is more like snow. So it could be that you're coming off as a bit cold. So tempering down that fire. Yeah, so wow. These two are in many ways opposed. So bringing those opposing parts of yourself together. So marrying together your fire and your water and your air. Marrying together your energy with your emotions and with your mental state. So this could be an indication that you could do some chakra clearing. If you've got blockages somewhere along the line, linking up your sacral with your manipura, your solar plexus, and then with your upper chakras, especially all the way up to the crown. Could be very helpful for you. Again, different messages for different folks. So we have the World in reverse for additional lessons that you're learning. So the World is another card that is ruled by Saturn. Saturn is the planet in charge of Capricorn. We're moving into Capricorn season. Very interesting. We also had a Capricorn card come up in this position for another pile, so you might have felt some resonance with that pile as well. So this is a card about completion and also about leveling up. So we've come to the end of this cycle and we're coming into the next phase. But in reverse, this could be an indication that you've been feeling quite restricted, and these restrictions are being released. So letting go of this need to be outward facing. So the Leo fire energy is being released. We're coming more into the mind and into the emotions, and that will let go of these restrictions that you've been feeling and help you release this sense of whatever loss you might have experienced, or the sense of breakthrough can come through. What we have in clarification of the background energies in Sportivy, we have Temperance. Powerful card. This is a card that's ruled by Sagittarius. So we've just come out of Sagittarius season at the time of this reading, or the beginning of the week is still Sagittarius time, if you're doing Sunday or Saturday. We're just starting into Capricorn season, just leaving Sagittarius. So the background energies at play could be the things that came up for you during Sagittarius sun season. We also have Temperance being coming into your inner wisdom. This what she's doing here is she's using these chalices to form this antidote, this medicine for the Fool as he's going along his journey. So you're coming into your inner power. This is also a card that speaks of alchemy. So being able to look into what felt like a negative at the time, loving into it, and bringing forth the positive aspect of it. So becoming more than just the magician, becoming the alchemist. That's the background energy that's there to support you, something that's happened for you. Gifts of Sagittarius, so expansion of the mind, especially being curious, being open, being positive. And then the ultimate outcome we have for you, we have 8 of Pentacles, so very industrious. So you don't have to give up all of your energy. Your energy is going to be coming out into manifested reality. So again, this could be an indication of some new moon rituals you might be doing. You might be looking to change up and level up your productivity. And that is definitely something that can be achieved for you, and that would rely on you bringing together these different pieces of yourself. Don't just expend all of your energy. Make sure you're bringing in your heart and your mind as well. So the background energies that support all of this, we have Ace of Swords in reverse. So this is speaking of a new direction in the uprights. It's the root of all the air signs. So it could be that you have an air sign that's being released, or someone who's been restrictive of the mind. This new direction in your mind is releasing the restrictions of your mind. So releasing a new direction in the mind. And what are the energies of the flowers that we can share with our group number 3? We have Moth, Orchid, communication, listen and speak with greater care. So be very mindful of the words that you speak. As Lao Tzu says, be mindful of your thoughts because they become your words. Be mindful of your words because they become your actions. Be mindful of your actions because they become your habits. And be mindful of your habits because they become your destiny. So this might be an indication that you need to be more careful about what you say, especially if you've got this Queen of Swords energy going here. You might be kind of sarcastic, and people don't always know that you're being sarcastic. And the way that you make people feel does actually matter quite a lot. People don't really remember much about you except for how you make them feel. So do be cautious about what you say, because it might affect people more than you realize. And part of what we're invited to do when we're in this space, in this world, and you'll be coming to this message because you're in this space yourself, is to shine our light to help other people shine. And thoughtless words don't really achieve that very well. You have Lenten Rose, protection, conserve what you have and save a little bit. All right, so again, don't expend all of your energy. You are becoming this king of your energy, so you know how to use it well. So take what you need. Take what is yours. Leave the rest. And you can be generous with what you do share. You don't need to worry about scarcity, because scarcity is only as true as you believe it's true. If you act like it's not, then miraculously, especially if you're doing so in a way that helps people feel good, in a really rooted in the heart, connected with their higher being way, not just like immediate gratification, but actually like speaking to them on a deep soul level, that can really help to level up this energy game, get you out of this space of feeling like you've lost, and into your more productive mode. And then finally, we have Peony, health. Focus on all parts to make the whole. Right, so you may have really only been focusing on your energetic body up to now, so bringing in the mind and the emotions as well, and letting go of the restrictions that have been holding you back, becoming that alchemist to be your own antidote. Also, again, I'm not a healthcare professional, so it could be that you might want to check in, get a whole body scan from a mental health care professional. Or it could be, like I said earlier, you might want to do some chakra clearing. Different messages for different folks. Take what resonates. And the final words of healing wisdom to share with group number 3, you have: take responsibility for every thought and feeling. It can affect the whole universe. Yep. So same with this, what I was saying with the communication card. Mind your thoughts, your words, your actions, your habits, your destiny. Especially when we're coming into a manifestation phase around a new moon. Everything you think, everything you say has quite a lot of reverberation to the universe. The universe is listening. So be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. All right. These are the messages I have for you, group number 3. Group number 3, thank you so much for letting me be your guide through these messages. If this pinged something for you, I'd love to hear about it in the comments down below. And if it really resonated, you might like to hit the like. And if it really hit your vibe, you might like to hit the subscribe and the bell notification down below to keep track of how this channel continues to evolve. I hope to see you again very soon. And until then, as always, go in peace, to love and to serve. Namaste.